Pellegrino.
Is that a thing?
Hmm?
In-
I'm saying like Italian.
Oh,
Like I'm Italian.
not do
Pellegrino.
that. It's way too far on accent.
It's a good Italian accent.
Okay.
You know, we Italians or Italian wannabes.
We,
Yeah.
you don't even, you know.
Mamma
All right.
mia.
Before introducing.
No judgment. All right.
My first guest on this, I don't even know what this is my husband. How are you, babe?
Ooh.
Haven't seen you in a while. In like 5 seconds ago.
I know it's
been a while.
great. It's definitely nice to see you again. You know, I feel like 5 seconds was a long time.
Definitely.
You know,
It's like an
and
eternity.
it is eternity.
Mhm.
Like it's really really long time. You know, and
Before we start, because I know you'll keep going on that, I was thinking, like, on like the money that we were getting on like relocation, we should set aside, let's say 50K, pay off a PML, and then 10K is like our living expenses, and wherever we go, we can't go over like 10K, let's say, per month, and then 10K on crypto, and then I listed it. I forgot. It's in my thing.
your book.
Yeah. There's 3 more 10Ks.
We have to
That
type.
tithe, yeah,
we gotta
and
type.
then but I did a 10% on tithing, and then there's 2 more. Once again, I forgot
Now that I'm even thinking about it, right? I mean, obviously, relocation is like the biggest chunk we get. You know, but like the typing, just for the typing, you know, should probably get everything. So from the government contracting, from the e-commerce, from the property management,
yeah.
from the rentals, relocations, we probably
Oh,
figure out.
payroll.
Oh yeah, payroll, yeah.
Yeah, so like we don't, like another 10K savings. So keeping it in case we need anything later,
Emergency,
we're
yeah.
not taking out anything from any basket, and we're just taking it out from the savings.
Like that.
Deal.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna be our
Talking about
you know
talking about deals, right?
uh,
Our prenup, we're supposed to set those accounts up too.
yeah, well, we
never
need to
did
go
it.
back. We're so bad.
I just remember we had all these things supposed to set up in the prenup.
Even like the life insurance, we need to
Yeah,
like
we need to do
take
the
care
life
of that, because
insurance
that's
too.
gonna be like
IULs.
a lot. We need, because we have a certain point. I think we have 5 mil on each other, and so like something happens, like we're covered. Yeah.
I mean, before that, we can also use it to invest.
Yeah, we
Buy a
can.
house or something, buy another property, cash flowing property or something with the IUL, right?
Exactly.
Use it whilst we're alive
Mm-hmm.
and take advantage of it and just pay back
Mm-hmm.
like that. When you get to it though.
We do. Well, for this channel, just so you know, we met like around 2020, and then we were boyfriends and girlfriends for a little bit, and then we broke up, and then we both don't go back to Access, but we did.
I know, right? Which is
We're like
weird.
2 different people when we get back together, and it's like super, like it's quick. It was like within 6 months, I think. It was just like a lot of things changed, and it just organically happened from there.
Yeah.
And I think we were together for 2 more years. Then we got married. Somewhere around that timeline. Don't
She
quote
does
me on
better.
it. And we got married last year, June. Don't ask me the date.
She
And
never knows the date. I don't know how. She never knows the date. And the funny thing is, for the longest time, she'll actually argue with me when I tell her the date. So she doesn't know. She's like, no, it's not that. It's June 4th or it's June 5th, June 18th. I'm like, babe, really?
I thought it was June 18 to 23. I was still far
And
off.
she's still very, very, very far off.
Still far off. It was June 27, right?
Yep.
See, I got it right, because I actually saw the marriage certificate this time. So I have an evidence that I was wrong.
Yep. You know, but one thing I do appreciate though is, you know, when you're wrong, you actually do accept that you're wrong.
Yeah. When I think I'm right, I'm just, I'm right. It's not that I'm telling you I'm right. I'm just like, no, I'm so sure I parked there. I don't know where the car is. But
sometimes she's so sure, but It's not sure either. Just gonna leave it like that. It's not always sure.
But yeah, it's just definitely crazy. But we were in Dallas for the prayer convention with
Apostle
Apostle
Selman.
Joshua, yeah.
Okay.
And I couldn't forget one of the things that
If you've not heard of Apostle Selman, you should probably YouTube him. Like,
YouTube him.
just YouTube him and just watch a few of his sermons. They're long, but just watch a few of his sermons and
You do,
it's
yeah.
life changing. Okay, sorry.
But yeah, so like one of the things that he said that stuck with me is there are different levels of your life that it will only unlock. I'm sorry, there are different blessings in your life that it will only unlock when you're at a certain level in your life, and that is super like real because I think when we got married, I mean we're like getting blessed when we were just boyfriends and girlfriends, but when we got married, I feel like a lot of things just unlocked for us spiritually, and it's like transferred to like physical realm, and it's like like the rental business is thriving, and then we're getting more properties, and then we have relocations, and then we have government contracts, and then now you're going into e-commerce
and corporate housing too.
corporate housing, but then we're also like hey, like let's invest more in crypto. And so but yeah, it's like definitely great.
It's funny, right? Because when we first got married and the rental business, you know, we had to pray about it for favors like that.
We do.
And I think after that, like a lot of things started opening up, right? And that really, obviously, I think that obviously one talks about how God blessed our union, right? But then also, how prayer works, because I think the business were good already, but then I remember we agreed on a prayer one time and we prayed that we're just going to commit everything to God. And I think 2 months after that, like we had 100% occupancy. And properties were just being booked and booked and booked. And it's just amazing to look back sometimes just to see, those, I don't want to say challenges or hardship, but I guess challenges and hardships that like prayer just sees you through. Like, you just pray about it and just leave it to God. And like, okay, I'm going to do my best. It's not just pray and leave it and just do not do anything, right? But I'm going to pray about it, do my best, and let God do his work too, right?
Amen
And
to
just trust in
that.
him.
Yeah, because it's like when we bought out Kevin, it was like I think that was the point where I was like, okay, like how do I even like do this, And when I told him I can buy him out, I don't even have that resource of like how do I pay Kevin like the 50K down payment, and I could have reached out to the PMLs, and they could have said yes to me, but I was like, I don't want to do it, and part of it is like me, I'm being hard-headed too, and I know God like put that in his plans. It's like he already knows how hard-headed I am, how like there are skills that I just don't tap into. And so my mom called like a few weeks after when we get back from the Philippines, and she was like, hey, so and so wants to invest. And I was like, this person is not even in real estate, he doesn't know real estate. And I was like, how much does he wants to invest in? And she was like 50K. And so that was like, oh my gosh, like I cannot even believe it, like how God moves. And so we were able to like buy him out and get all the properties on our side. It's definitely challenging, like being able to like just us and like no Kevin for a while, because we were like trying to figure out, we were partners from the beginning, and but God came through. All in all, this is all His plans, and it's for the better, and everything is falling into place like right now, which is like you realize it's like, oh, that's why it happened.
I mean, definitely, because from my point of view, even being from the outside before even coming fully in, that sounds bad.
What?
But from my point of view, though, right, I think that led to a lot of more growth, though. Right?
Definitely.
And that had to happen, because if that didn't happen, then most of the things you're doing now wouldn't have been possible.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're super focused on just that part of the business, just a rental business, right? But that happened, and now you're able to obviously discover this like insurance relocation, right, and grow it, make it like something pretty big. So I think, I mean, I always say everything happens for a reason, right? As long as you're trusting in God, because he guides your path, he guides your steps, right? So as
Mhm.
long as he's your northern star, really,
He is
right?
my North.
And you just stick to him, right? Everything is gonna happen, for your good,
Yeah.
right? But what does he say? Well, I have the plans. I know the plans I have towards you, plans to
Plans to
prosper
prosper
you.
you.
Yeah. So God was wants us to prosper. Just
Mhm.
gotta trust in
And
Him.
it's like a domino effect when you really become obedient to his words. It's like
Yeah.
one thing that you obey, and it's like a domino effect. It's like we bought Kevin out, and so we got all the rentals, and then I was able to focus on relocation. We're able to get government contracts. You quit your job, and now you have more time for e-commerce,
I
and
know,
you
right?
want more contracts. So it's like, oh my gosh, and just because of that one thing that happened, it has like what is it, unblocked like all these unlocked
Unlocked,
all
yeah.
these blessings and the path that we have to take. But it's great to be blessed. At the end of the day, like I think we both have that mindset of like it's not ours anyway. It's like we're just managing.
The stewards of
um
it.
yes, from God, but it's like I still thank God for that. It's like I thank you for letting me manage all these things and letting me experience all these
Exactly.
blessings that are given to us, and because of that, we're able to experience a lot of things and go to a lot more places and talk to more people. And so the favor definitely was it was that to the point where it doesn't matter where you are in life. That if God wants to lift you and you're obedient to Him, He will lift you, and
Oh
no
yeah.
one else can pull you back.
No, I mean it's one of those things like you say, because he has that path and plan for everybody,
Mhm.
right? But it really just depends on you to follow that lead. I think what happens to a lot of us is, especially people that have been in business for so long, we think we know everything,
Yeah.
right? Or we've seen something work for somebody, so you think that's the only way it should go.
Yeah.
But then a lot of times, which is like I feel like 100% of the time, what
Mhm.
we think is the right thing is actually not what God wants for us,
I know
right?
His better plans for us.
Yeah. So but and as it also comes down to like you said earlier with Apostle Selman, right? Is doing those things to unlock certain favors and blessings,
Yeah.
right? And he actually talks about it a lot. Really, is gratitude, being
Mhm.
grateful for, and it even says in the Bible, "In all things give thanks,"
Amen.
right? So that little thing that God gives you, be grateful for it, and He
Mhm.
knows you're grateful, and you're taking really good care of it, showing up every day, taking the action that you need to
Mhm.
take. The 100% effort, 110% effort. Then He's going to give you more. Then you get the more, be grateful for it, go all out, do more,
Yep.
take the action, and He gives
Level
you
up.
more. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you keep leveling
remember
up.
when I was starting, and I had nothing, and I was like thanking God for, let's say, the roof over my head or like a blanket. And like now I still thank God about those things, and like that we have food in the fridge, and I thank God for like our bank accounts, for our business, for like our
Yeah,
PMLs, the people who trust us. Learning more and more about the vessel and the channels here on earth, because God is the source, but He will use people and things and events to bless you and uplift you and change your situation. And having that favor of man and having that situation change spiritually, and having your prayers answered spiritually, it's just like so, like I cannot understand it. It was like how like there's just no way, and so
yeah,
it's just crazy how much that feeling is, because it's like there's just no way, and then like you pull through, and it's just like you just
yeah.
need to trust Him, because a lot of things is out of our control, and it happened so many times on our in our partnership and marriage. And so when He is able to like do all those things, it's you cannot understand it. It's like there's no word for it,
No, it's
and it's just like
funny.
really really good feeling.
So I know it's off topic a bit, right?
Mhm.
But one thing is that's so funny to me. I just realized because we are talking about it. So we both read the Bible a lot, right?
We do.
But she reads the Bible, and I'll be in my office trading or something, and she goes, "Oh my God, oh no!" And then she come. And she said that story of Ruth. Like, do you know, babe? Do you know this? I was like,
My girl.
but I know it's just so funny. That I just love it though.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know?
like Saul, like Samuel, and then
Yeah.
David.
It's like,
And I'm
I
like,
can't believe this. Like, and
babe.
then like she was the Old Testament, like I can't
Yeah.
believe these Israelites.
Yeah. I can't, like yesterday I was like, babe, I can't believe that Jesus is in the line of Leah instead of
Yeah.
Rebecca.
I
I was
don't even
like,
know.
that was great. I was like, I know that Leah is seen. She's blessed with 7 sons, I think, or 7 kids. And so it it was just like crazy
It
for me.
blows
Like,
my
it was
mind,
the best book is the Bible for me. Like
No, it
I've
is.
read a lot of books, like self-help books, and like even like fiction books when I was younger, and nothing beats the Bible. It's just like if you want a book recommendation, the Bible. Like if
Oh yeah, I mean,
like I can talk about it. Like you want what chapter do you want? Let's talk
don't
about
don't
it.
get her started. Definitely don't get her started. No, but I guess in all seriousness though, it's one of the ways to keep you grounded too.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, and this is my personal opinion. I might be wrong, but it's my personal opinion that a lot of times God is a God of His word, and the Bible is the word of God, right? So if there's a promise in the Bible, I can hold God to it. Like, hey, you said this.
Yes,
I didn't
you
say
said
it. You
it.
said it. Like,
Hmm.
it's in the Bible, right? But you don't know these things unless you read the Bible,
You don't. Yeah.
And I think that personally, that's one of the reasons why I like to read the Bible, just to try, obviously, to get closer to God, understand how He works, really, right? And see all the blessings out there for me, because there's so many blessings. But if you don't know, then how are you going to get it?
How are you gonna tap into it?
You know?
And it's like, and it's there. It is. You just need to read it, and so
Yeah.
like the fact that everyone has access on it, but then does not access it. It's like it's a choice, it's a
Mhm.
decision, and so we don't read the Bible throughout the day.
No,
We
but
read it like you read it late at night or very early
I
in the
read it very
morning,
4
and I
a.m.
read it. Yep, read it in the morning. But there's always work to do, and so you cannot just spend your time worshiping. You need to obey, and that's like obey is not just reading your Bible. It's a lot of things that you need to um, work on your daily life to
I
yeah.
mean, even going to, because waking up, right, and showing up for your business or your
Hmm.
95, whatever it is, right, putting your 110% effort in it,
Hmm.
it's actually obeying,
Yeah.
right? Because God, I don't think God created us to be lazy,
Mm.
right? He's given us all these chances. So I
Hmm.
think the fact that you wake up and see a new day, no matter your
So good.
circumstances, no, for real, right? No, but no, because no matter your circumstance or what you're
Hmm.
going through, the fact that you're alive means that you should go give you 110% to whatever you're
Hmm.
doing, right?
Yeah, it's like waking up in the morning and
Unless
see.
it's legal, very legal.
Yeah.
You're 110%
That
whatever
was like
legal
waking
thing,
up in the
right?
morning too and thanking God first that you're still breathing because you
Hmm.
could have not, like
Yeah.
if you're done, then you're done. And so like that was like my prayer every morning is just to thank Him that we're still here
Hmm.
and we can still like do more, help more people, improve the business and plan
Yeah.
towards the future for generational wealth.
It's funny you're
Yeah.
saying that, right? Because when I wake up, and it's actually when we're driving yesterday, is when I was thinking about it, right? And I was like, man, sometimes we work so much, and
Hmm.
people are like, okay, you guys are workaholics. I'm like, okay, because it's easy for either of us to work like 17 to 20 hours,
Oh
just
yeah,
sit
easy.
there and just work there, right? But I'm like, I want my work to glorify God,
Yeah.
So that's how people glorify God through their giving, which I do give a lot.
Hmm.
People do it through preaching, but mine, I think, is my work ethics,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not gonna make anyone. That's how I'm competing, right?
That's like your God-given talent.
Yeah, my work
Yeah.
ethic, right? Where I'd, I'll work almost any. I can't work you like that, but I'll work almost
Mhm.
anybody. And it's not like I'm trying to compete or make anything,
Mhm.
but I'm just basically trying to be the best version.
Yeah.
I have this thing on my phone that says be competent and excellent.
Mhm.
That reminds me every day: be competent and be excellent, right? And I think I do that because that's my way of glorifying God.
Yeah.
So okay, you're giving me this thing to be a steward of. You're giving me this business, whatever it is, right? I'm gonna put my 110% in it,
Yeah.
put my whole effort in it, right? I'm not just gonna half-ass it and be like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
not, I'm actually gonna. So then, if it doesn't work, at least I know that I put my
Yeah.
110%. But so far everything has worked. So,
Yeah.
but I think I'm blessed. So I'm blessed and highly favored. So
No, I was like, I don't think God cares on
uh-huh.
what we do, right?
No.
It's not like you need to become an engineer or you need to become a nurse. It's like he could care less. He only wants your obedience and for you to believe in him, trust him, which is you think is easy. It's not. It's like I think the
No.
work with God is like it's a journey. And when you finally have that realization that oh my gosh, this is like the best thing that ever like that you can actually count on and the best thing that would ever happen to you, it's like it's less things that you need to look at life that is bad. It's like you have less stress, you have less
Yeah.
worries, less anxious. Um, Great if it's zero of those, but I think a lot of people put their trust on like someone or put their trust in a situation or just like like shoot the star and like see if they can actually get it. But instead of like I will trust God, I will do whatever I can and trust Him,
Yep.
and that's it. So there's a lot of things that is again out of our control that we just know that God will pull through it, and He's done it so many
Oh, so
times.
many
It's
times.
like countless
So many
already.
times. And
Um,
sometimes even like the little stuff. When I was living in Dallas, for instance,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I feel like so I was when Dallas, you left before me, right, to Florida,
Mhm.
and I was going from Dallas to Phoenix. So traffic, I don't always put me in traffic when I'm traveling now.
Mhm.
But I basically get to the airport super, super late. And basically like they're boarding already, right? And I had to check in bags. And most people, like usually your bag check-in ends like an hour before you
Mm.
take off, right? So it was late. I get there, and the lady was like, "Hey, there's really nothing she can do." And then later she calls him back, and she's like, "You know what? I can do a voluntary separation." So basically, what that is, which I'd never heard of that, and all my years of traveling.
Mhm.
So what that is, I can get on a flight, but my bags will get there 2 or 3 days later. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to pay for a new ticket again, even though it's not that expensive. But like, I just didn't want to pay and stay there longer. So I was like, I'll just do that, right?
Mhm.
So I do that. I go to the gate because it's supposed to be boarding,
Mhm.
and then for some reason the flight attendants weren't there. So they had to wait for the flight attendants to come, and then long story short, it delayed so much. It delayed for my bag to make the plane right on time before we took
Mhm.
off. You know, and I'm not saying it happened for me, but I think it's still that favor where
Yeah.
probably delayed because of me. I don't know, right? But then, because on my way, the actual was praying about it. I'm like, God, I really don't want to pay for this thing again. I want to make this flight. And then when they said my bags will not be there, I actually was like, God, let your will be done. And
Mhm.
next thing you hear is the plane is delayed, and then my bags make the plane. I'm
Ah,
like, ooh,
sweet.
favored.
Yeah. He is very favorite. When I met him, like he definitely is the one who helped me with grow my relationship with God. And I tell everyone now, it's like God has no favorites, but he is like favorite. And so it's like because it's like every time you get bumped into first
Oh
class,
yeah.
it's like it's
Even I
always
don't buy
like
first
being
class, I
bumped to
get.
like it's something else, and I'm like,
I know,
like
right?
how? But okay, I love that. Let's talk about mindset.
Hmm.
I'll start it. I have this thing, and I always cannot believe it, and I still can't. When like one of those is like, how can people not work hard for this? It's like, and I'm not saying that like people should want this or should be content on where they at. It's more like when we were in Italy, I think I was like, how can people not work for this? It's like see this and experience this. When we were in Japan, I was like, how can people like
Yeah.
want to see like the world and like work hard to like be able to afford it? And so I know some individuals are content. My mom is, and then some people that I know, it's like they would rather have like a 10 acre in the middle of Tennessee on a mobile home, and they're happy. And I love those people, but I don't like the people who are like, I don't have this because of this, or because of my experience,
Yeah.
because of lacking, because I have no resources. I'm like, I don't too, and so I couldn't like listen to it because I came from nothing as well. I feel like I came from not zero, I came from negative, like the bottom of the pit. Like if there's some more bottom there, like go there. So it's like it's
You
proven,
you really should write a book though. I really tell you.
huh?
I think you should write a book and share a
I don't
story.
know, like
But
later. I hate
sorry.
writing, so but that's like one thing that is a mindset for me because I was able to pull through, and with the help of God, of course. But still, if you don't act, you're gonna stay on that pit. And so, yeah,
I
that's
think,
like one thing.
it's another thing for me. What I think is people have those limiting beliefs and fear, right? So a lot of times people want that good lifestyle, they want that car, they want that house, whatever it is. But either they have that limiting beliefs where they feel like they can't because they're female, they can't because they're African, they can't
Mhm.
because of something about them, right?
Uh,
And just even thinking about that just messes up everything
it
already
does.
because it limits your thinking. You can't think outside the box. You don't take the
Mhm.
action, right? And talking about action too, is a lot of people get into that analysis paralysis kind of thing,
Mhm.
right? So they're very interested in the business or starting a business, right? They know what they need to do. But then instead of thinking about everything that's going to go right, they're thinking of everything that can go wrong,
Yeah.
you know? And I always say, just take that leap of faith, just start that business, right? You have that idea, just do it. You don't know anything, you're gonna fail, but failing is what makes you grow, really.
Mhm.
Like before I failed so many times. Oof, like
Same.
so
Yeah,
so so many
so
times,
many times
you
too.
know. But the thing is about failing is you can fail and not learn from it and keep failing, or you can fail and learn from it and grow.
Mhm.
You know, like look at kids for instance. You think kids they start to try to stand and walk, right?
Yeah,
And
very
then
resilient.
they fall and then
Mhm.
they get up and keep going.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people now is the first failure, the first hardship, they just
Yeah.
want to give up,
Just want,
you
yeah.
know. So they want it, but now they start making excuses. Oh, you're just
Mhm.
lucky, or because you know this person.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the pain is too much that they couldn't bear it.
yeah,
And a lot of them are, pain of like failure. It's an excuse for me because for me, everyone has a sob story. It's like, you're a product of a divorce, or like your parent left you, you had cancer, you were abused when you were a kid, and so on and so forth. There's so many. And I have those too. And still, no one really cares in business. Like everyone has different cards to play, and it doesn't matter how good or how plentiful your cards are, or how bad and how few your cards are. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how you play them. And if you play them right, it's not that you're not going to be like, it's not that it's not sure that you're going to be successful. If you have God, you are surely going to be successful, because if you have the Bible plus your work ethic and how you're playing the cards, it might not be the same timeline as everyone, or some individuals who are like climb the ladder and level up so fast, but you will get there too. And so I think a lot of people look at others and compare, and you can't. You have different cards to play. I have different cards to play, and my cards was so bad, I feel like, but I was like, now I wouldn't even change a thing. I would do it again, because of the cards that I was given. I was able to learn on my own pace, but also it comes to a lot of realization. So it's a lot of accountability, a lot of taking responsibility, a lot of taking risk, a lot of unknown things that I just don't know what's going to happen, but I just need to do it and trust that it will work. And so if I fail, and I fail a lot too, I just pivot. It's like you don't dwell on the failure. It's like you need to assess it, why it worked or why it didn't work on your results, and learn from there. And so a lot of people, I think, when they fail, they just focus on the feeling, and it's like, why? Why are you focusing on the feeling? It's like it already happened. Assess it, what you did wrong, and next time you do it, change something, because so many things on actions, they just keep repeating it, and they think that they're going to produce a different results, which is why, like, if you're coloring red and you're still coloring red like the next time, why would you expect it to be green? So so it's just like, I cannot I don't understand it sometimes, but you need to be very conscious on like your actions, because if you are in a trial and error stage, then you're going to fail a lot, and you just need to accept it. I remember when I was in the military, when I was leaving the military, one of my colleagues was like, "Why are you leaving?" And I was like, this is not for me. I need to go. I'm gonna build a business." And he was like, "Well, you're gonna fail." And I was like, "I know I will fail. I was like, who am I? It's like I haven't started a business. I don't know anything about business." And so I accepted it that I'm going to fail, and I took that with me when I was starting to fail. And I was like, "Yep, I knew it's gonna happen. So what am I gonna do now?" and go move on to the next one. Am I going to do now? So,
I actually like one thing that you said, right? Is when you fail, take notes, basically reassess what happened.
mhm.
But I also think you should also do it for your wins too,
Oh, definitely, you
right?
need to, because how would you recreate it that?
Exactly, you
And
can
you
that's
need
what
to
I'm gonna
know,
say. So
yeah.
you can actually recreate it and keep winning, you
Mhm.
know. But I think a lot of people they stumble upon because a lot of people succeed on something and they can't replicate it again, and that's why people
Mhm.
fall, right? You like they hit the high and then just drop it low because
Mhm.
they they try so many things, but they're not conscious of what they're doing,
Yeah.
right? So yes, but they mix so many things together, then they
Mhm.
became successful one time, but then they can't
Mhm.
replicate or keep it going, right? But then
Mhm.
if you can always assess yourself, your business, whatever it is,
Mhm.
right, and see what brought you to where you are, right, and actually have that formula that okay, hey,
Mhm.
if I know if I do this, because then I know I can lose everything today,
Yeah.
but then still build up again. You know,
Mhm.
you can lose everything today, like everything, and make a million next. You have to
Mhm.
like you can make the money back again because you have that blueprint, right? You assessed it,
Mhm.
you know the steps you took to get you there, and then
Yeah.
no matter what happens, you can do it again.
Correct. Because you do not think of luck, and that would be your goal because you cannot recreate luck,
No.
but you can assess everything and make a direction for yourself. Because especially when you don't know what direction to take, but if something is something that you did is right, and you produce the results, and you recreate it the second time, the third time, you it's like you unlock the process of like how to make money, let's say, whatever your goal is. But let's say on you unlock that action and process on how to make it, how to monetize a business. And so if you can recreate that, great. If you are able to grow your business, even better. Because I think a lot of people too, it's like, oh yeah, it worked, I'm not gonna do it, it's too hard. It's like I feel like in relocation, I was like I was alone for 3 months. Like I was asking for your help, but then you're busy too. And like all the VAs, I was asking for their help, and like they're busy. So everyone around me is busy. But that one was actually it was a learning point on my end too, because I learned so many things, and I was able to learn most of it, where I can just like hire people and then tell them, like, hey, this is how you do it. And so it's not that you figure it out, because I know people as well, when they started hiring, it's like, oh yeah, like this is the video. I'm like, how would you even do that? And so it's like, and what's funny is those individuals who give the video to their employees, they don't even know how it works and they haven't even watched it. And so I was like,
Yeah.
so why would you expect it to produce results? And so I would say produce results first on your end, good results that and on the same process that has the same outcome, and then pass it on, then you grow from there. Because a lot of things can actually have a system, and I learned that from you. I used to like just do everything myself, and then when I found out that I won't grow like that, or I won't be able to help more people doing that, I was able to like have the mindset of I'm gonna hire people, and I'm gonna do this or form this system where we can use, and so it's easier for everyone. And even now we're 6 months in the business, we grew too much, I feel like too fast, grew too much, too fast,
Yeah.
but we are able to keep up because we have the systems and people are trained the way we want them to be trained.
Yeah, I
So,
like that. I think, it's a multi-stage thing, right? In
mhm.
any business, because as the business owner, right, you want to understand your system, like the fundamentals of your business,
Yeah.
right? You want to set the foundation, know the ins and outs of your businesses.
Mhm.
So once you know those, then you can replicate it, then now you can start training people. So that's the next step, right? Is being able to hire people, right? Training them. And once you get that training thing down, is when you create the systems, right? You perfect your systems, and it's been obviously proven every time that it works, the system works, then you can actually go to automation and actually
Mhm.
automate
Yes.
your businesses, right? And I think that's where most people should try to get to, is the automation part of it,
Mhm.
because then at that point you can really pull yourself out of your business.
Yes.
And then the system and the automation part of it, it's letting your business run, right?
Yeah.
And then you're growing your business, but then you're not being the bottleneck of your business kind of thing, right? Or
Yes.
not one person is being the bottleneck or slowing down how fast you can grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's one pretty thing we're doing pretty good at, is being able to create those systems to the point where we can step out, like be in Japan and just, not have to worry
Yes.
about the business,
Yeah.
right? Or be here, like, and,
Yeah.
but then you obviously want to have know what's going on in your business, right? But then the business shouldn't depend on you to
Yeah.
grow at that point, right? You want to be doing those high level meetings, right? High level networking, right? Networking with other people like you to grow and get new ideas. But then you shouldn't be in the day to day activities of your business. Then you're definitely doing something wrong, right? But the goal is to be able to get to the point where your business can run on 100% without you being in it.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. We build the business not just because we want financial freedom, but we want the freedom of time, or where we can go whenever we want to go.
Freedom of time, freedom of
Mhm.
location.
Mhm.
I always say that, freedom of time and location. you know, but no, really and truly, we both have that passion to help people, right? And we all have those goals and dreams on how we want to give back and help
Yeah.
millions of people, right? And obviously, the business is one of the ways to do it too, right? So the freedom of time, freedom of location, once we have that, helps us able to, it makes us able, I guess, gives us a chance to channel our efforts and energy into other things that we like to do and also helping people out.
Yeah.
So
We had that one prayer of that you pray that if that our money that goes out there expands.
yeah,
And I love that.
that's my prayer time. Yeah, I've forgotten what Bible verse it was, but I think it was in the somewhere in the Old Testament where God was blessing the Israelites, and they're like whatever they do, basically is going to expand, right?
Ooh, yes.
And that's my prayer. So anywhere my money goes, it should expand. If I'm giving money to make a donation to somebody, it should expand, right? If even in a bank account, it should expand, right? Somehow like the interest or whatever it is, that I'm getting. But now you always want to expand, and especially if it's something that God is blessing you with, you don't want to the talents, right? You want to get more. You just
Love
don't
the
want to
talents.
just be stagnant with what God is giving you. You want to get it and be able to expand, right? And that's how I like that. I like to see my life, right? Expanding the blessings, expanding the favor, expanding everything that God has entrusted me. So yeah.
I love that. The parable of talent is my favorite. The parable.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's
It
like
is.
usually like the lesson on that is so like they are given talents and then most of them used it and there's one person who didn't and buried it. And so when he came back to his master, he just just give the talent back with no results and like he didn't grow. And I was like, what? So like usually that's the lesson of that story. Use the talents that you are given. But for me, there's two more things that I took from that story, which is the second one is if you pass on to your opportunities, you do not keep that opportunity and you do not keep the blessing that came into with that opportunity. It's given to someone else. So it's like, like he actually took that talent and gave it to like someone else. And the third one is same thing that we were talking about earlier. They were given different talents and different number of talents. And so some has many, some has few, and it doesn't matter. Like your source is the one who gave it. You don't have a say on that. Just play it. So
Yeah.
that's two more things that I took
No,
from
I
that.
actually like that because it's funny because the one that had the least obviously got taken away from him because
Yeah.
he didn't do anything with it. And I think that really that's every part of your life, really.
Yeah.
Your health, your wealth, everything,
You
that you
can't
have.
have it all, really.
Yes.
It's some things, and even on talents, like with me it's like you're so good at like tech and like systems and stuff, and I tell him I don't even want to learn it. I'm like, I don't know, I'm not interested, like I don't want to. And even to like being introvert and then you being extrovert, and I'm introvert but I'm not even shy to talk to people. I just chose not to. It's like, no, I don't want to.
Unless
Like
it's coffee.
coffee, I'll start conversation, but it's like I really choose on who I talk to because it's like different for me and it's different for him. And so, but him, he can just like talk like that. I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Like and then he smiles and engage in the conversation. I'm like, I probably have like I'm just like, no, I'm just like looking at you, just like,
It's like
but it's like if something doesn't interest me, it's really hard for me to get into that conversation. It's not that I can choose to engage into that conversation, but it's like it makes me tired when we don't have anything in common and we don't have anything to talk about that is we don't know about each other. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
how are you? Who are you? Like, I don't know. So, and but yeah, but like when I when I like a person, it doesn't even matter that if they're doing the same thing as me, but it's like same family, like like
But I
same
think
like military.
no, but I think that's
Hmm.
one of the things that helps us out too a lot.
Yeah.
Because every time we go out, I'll go meet the people, right? I'll
Hmm.
talk to so many people, and then basically pass them over to her, right? And
You
she
pass
builds
it
the
on to me.
connections. She actually develops and builds those connections, right? So for me, a week from today, I don't know the person's name. I don't remember that
Hmm.
person, but she knows the person's kid's name, how many kids they have, how many grandkids,
Where they from?
where they're
What were they
from.
doing
Yeah,
before? What are they doing
where
now?
they
What are
like
they
to
gonna do?
vacation. I'm like, how do you do all this? But because she focuses on that one person, right?
Hmm.
I think that's one of the reasons why. Because I can go out there and meet people and make all these high level connections, and she
Hmm.
comes, goes to her, and then she nurtures it, right? She builds it and
I don't like
develops it.
that.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
nurture and build those connections. I think that's
Hmm.
one thing you really do well too, building those
Yeah.
relations, right? Where and that's why people trust you, right?
Hmm.
Because you give them that time, you give them that attention,
Hmm.
you actually listen to them and not just
I
do
was like, what do you do? Yeah. So like
yeah.
when we were in Dallas, when he met with them first, I was working, and then like you guys like were able to like talk about businesses, yada yada. And so
One of
like
my
they
friends
were
again.
like, and they were brothers, and they're like, oh, we want to meet CC too. So the next day they met me. We never talk about business.
Yep.
We just talk about like, oh, like that's great. Like, do you
Yeah.
sing? Like,
But
what's your favorite food? Like, and it's like, oh my gosh, like that. You like your job is so interesting. Because like I'm really interested. So like there are things that I know I'm never gonna learn in life. So like let's say she's a speech therapist, but that's so interesting for me because like, and she's so interesting for me. And so I just like expand on that. And in my head, a lot of people like talking about themselves, and it's not me like being not real to them because like I know that like with people, communicating with people and having the mindset that we have, but it's like being curious, it matters so much to them, but it's genuinely just me. I'm just so interested, like, do you work with like people from other countries? And it's like it's a lot of questions that I had, and I ask so much questions and
yeah,
people answer because they like
she
talking
does
about
ask a lot
themselves,
of questions.
but I really like to know. I'm
It's
like I want to know, like, talk
it's
about
funny.
yourself.
And it's funny because I met those two guys, right? So that was the
Hmm.
real estate guy, the second was the crypto guy. And the whole time we're just talking about business.
Hmm.
How we're gonna partner, business. Had dinner with the guy, business with his wife there.
Yeah.
The next I couldn't remember like his wife's name. I'm like, we go up with a job like I can't do the introduction because I don't remember her name.
Oh my
Which is
gosh.
honestly pretty bad,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
guess I
It's
went
like
there to meet
two
the
different focus,
yeah, two
really.
different
Like, which is
focuses
like
there.
super nice. Like, I think I like that about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can focus on like one thing, he can focus on the other, and we just mix it like right after. It's like, oh, like you talk about
Yeah.
it, and like what happens, like personal, and it's like same thing, and
Yeah.
so we get the best of both worlds on the conversations and getting to know people. Because I would never talk about business unless I'm done with your personal. Like, I'm just like, and me being personal is like probably the whole day. I'll just talk about personal stuff, and maybe
Yeah.
we can talk about business later. And
I
so
go straight. I barely talk about. I don't even know how. I don't.
he
It,
doesn't ask much
I
questions,
don't ask questions,
and I do.
and I'm not the kind of person that I just go straight to the point.
Yeah.
So like I'll pick up
Hmm.
the phone and hello, hey, how are you? How's your day going? Nah, hey, when am I getting this right? What time is this kind of thing? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more personable now though. Like
Hmm.
now, I actually will ask.
Yeah, because you're a very personable person
Yeah, I am
too.
personable,
So
but when it comes, I feel like when it comes to business, I just go
yeah.
straight to the point for some
Oh yeah.
reason.
Hmm.
But I'm trying to be more personable in business too. Where I mean, trying license, I'm starting today.
Yeah. Me, I
I
think
started
like
Krista,
when
right?
I break the ice,
Yeah,
a lot of times, but me breaking the ice is literally 80% of the conversation, and then 20% business.
yeah,
Because it's like, I mean, what else can we do on the business? It's like you have your own thing, I have my own thing, and we can just like converse.
yeah.
But I have some individuals that we really talk about business because I need to help them, and I'm an open book. I will share my secrets, and I have asked before if I am not worried if they can become my competitor, or sharing all this like knowledges out there, if they can use it and then they can start competing with their business. And I'm like, no, because these are all just knowledge, and if they don't take action, then everything that I said has no power. it's just an idea. So a lot of times when I tell people like when how to do this thing and like how to do the whole business, let's say, I tell them that if you don't take action, this doesn't mean anything, and we just wasted like an hour, 2 hours of our conversation because it really is. I know that it works, but do you know that it works? Because you don't until you do it. And a lot of people get stuck into the action taking part. They just don't do it. And so for me to share is okay, but all the work is going to be on their side. Blood and sweat, not on my end. I will share the idea to you. It's up to you after.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I was talking to, I told you, a Corey guy that
Yeah.
does government contracts and insurance relocation. I mean, we had a meeting, and I was just talking like my whole system that we have, like the
Right.
whole system, the VAs we have, and then he's like, he actually said that thing. He's like, yeah, like I'm one of the few people that he's spoken to that openly shared my business model.
Because like, why not? It's not a secret sauce.
That's what I said.
Everything is everywhere.
And I'm like, I don't know why people gatekeep information. Like, I'm successful, so I'm not going to try to get competition. Like, I feel like the business realm, or even like insurance relocation, government contracting, corporate house, whatever it is, it's like the ocean. It's huge. And there's so much fish for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? But even if everybody, and that's even if people took the action or did what they're supposed to do. But the thing is, most people are not going to do what they're supposed to do.
No.
There's so many people that I've spoken to that literally you give them like ABC, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and you give them all the contacts they need, and they still wouldn't do it, right? But what if the person doesn't respond to my email? And I'm that kind of person. Is if I say something, it's not my way or the highway. But if I try to give you an advice, and you keep coming back with what ifs or rebuttals, I'm telling you what worked for me. You know what I'm saying? So if this will work for me, I'm telling you this is what works for me. This is what's working for people I know. And like, oh, but what if it doesn't work? Then I'm done. I don't want to listen to you again. At that, literally, you lose me at that point. You can come back again. Oh, this is my new business idea. I'm done.
You
lost your chance, really. Yeah, you lost your chance. But the thing is, most people get scared to take that action, right? And you can give somebody like the whole world, give them like step by step, like inch step. But if they don't take that action, they're never gonna succeed.
Yeah.
Really.
And like what you said, it's like they tell you what their business idea is. So when someone tells me that, I'm like, why are you telling me? Like, just do it and then tell me, like, what you learned. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, I have this idea, and then they think about it, they plan about it. It's like if I took that business idea and it took you 10 days to plan, and then I just took action from day one, on the 10th day, I'll probably like made so many mistakes and I already know what to do, and you're still in the planning stage. And that's, I feel like we oversay that, like because it's so common, but then people still get stuck on like the idea, and then you start telling people, and then you really are giving yourself that satisfaction that it's an idea, or like it's like you already have done it, or like you already produced the result. And that's why I don't like saying things that is, I don't even have results yet. Why would I tell you? Unless that you can help me and I need an information. But if I don't, why? Why am I sharing? And a lot of people, I think, they like oversharing because they like to talk about it. And it's really hard to keep it to yourself, especially when you don't even know if it's going to work, right? But works in private, it matters so much because it builds you. It builds your comfort, like, expanding your comfort zone, expanding your stress zone, expanding like, your skills. So,
I mean, a lot of things though, right, is really done in secret.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
Because like you're working 17 hours, you're waking up at 4 a.m., going to bed at like midnight, whatever it is. Right. That's all done in private, right? So all the work, your hard work, your tears, your sweat, everything.
So many tears.
But the thing is, most people just see the success part and never know the work that actually people put into it to get, or even how long it even takes people. Right? People just see, you're in first class, or you live in this house, and like, you're so successful. Like they think it's easy.
They think,
but then they don't realize how much, like waking up at 4 a.m. or doing all these things, like having all these meetings, right, to get to that point. Which is, I think, is very interesting. Personally interesting to me.
Yeah, as a word think, I hate it. So it's like when people like when I ask about something and it's like, oh, I think it's this one. I was like, you think? And it's
That shows you think. I'm like,
is it's like, oh, I assume. And it's like, oh, I assume it's this one. I was like, you assume? So it's like, well, how are we gonna do about it? Like, you're gonna just keep
well,
thinking, or
that's
you're
always our
gonna just keep
problem.
assuming?
She's like, babe, you just assumed. I'm like, you didn't ask me. You made an assumption. Like,
Yes. So in this marriage, we actually need to be very, very specific because we grew up with different countries. I grew up in the Philippines for 21 years. You were in Ghana for until, I don't know, 21, is it? Or 19?
18.
18. And so it's different. And then we're in US. And so it's like the whole
We used to come to
different,
the US a lot, yeah.
yeah, different cultures. And so for me, and you like the same thing. It's like you you need to be very specific because we
Very specific.
assume that oh that's what I thought, you know.
Yeah.
And so and it wastes time really.
It does waste time.
So then you need to try and figure it out and everything instead of like oh I know.
Which is, because now that I think about it, it's really communication.
It
Right?
is
Learning how to
communication, yeah.
effectively communicate with somebody,
Mhm.
and I think communication is one of those things where it's important in every aspect, not
Mhm.
just your personal life and business, right?
Uh,
Learning how to communicate your product to your customer, right? Sales, marketing, everything is communication, really. Now that I'm thinking about it,
It is really big
right?
in
So
like
I think
the
it's something
process.
that a lot of people are also terrible at, is communicating. I know me, I was
Very,
terrible, and I'm probably
yeah.
still terrible in communication.
Hmm.
I'll shut down before I even talk about anything. But it's something I think I'm trying to work on. No, I said I think again.
Yeah, you
It's
know.
something that I know I'm working on.
Yeah.
Trying to get better at it, and yeah, I think I know if once I get.
And we said it too, like the whole time.
I know, right? But I think it's one of those things though. If I can really get better at communication and business,
Mhm.
whatever it is, even in personal
Yeah.
life, I think it's one of those things that's going to catapult me to my next level.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's working on that. I'm actually working on my emotions more. Being a woman is hard, but it's if you are actually is the person who can control your emotions, you have a really, really, really good power. If it's a superpower, then I will label it as a superpower because emotions are crazy. And for us, it's like I feel like we have different personalities every week. Until we get to
every hour.
and so it's hard. And for me, I don't even cry with like the big problems. It's like a 100K problem, no problem. I'll take it. But if it's like a $30 problem and it went to me, it's like I go crazy because it's like, why is it not taken care of in the first place? Because it's a very, very small problem. But then I blew up on those a lot before, and I was able to like, okay, I need to like calm down because I can just like go there and solve the problem and then go to the roots. And it's like, what happened? Like all my emotions is not important. It's not gonna these individuals or these employees or you're not gonna remember about the problem later. You're gonna remember how I reacted. And so if I don't react the way I should not react, then everyone can focus on the problem. And so we can solve it and we can move on. But it's like meltdowns. I'm like, I don't affect people in meltdowns. I just go and like put myself on timeout or throw myself like, throw like things away and like where no one sees it. But it's like, I almost want a punching bag. Like I'm like, let me just punch something. I don't want to hurt anyone physically or like emotionally, but that's one thing that I should not be able. I shouldn't do that. Like I should not be at the point where I want a punching bag. I should be able to think that I'm okay. Everything is okay. This is just a simple problem. Move on. Like solve it, get to the roots, and then move on. And so it's not easy to be honest, but I'm a work in progress, and I know that, and everyone is. But that's one thing that I'm really trying to really master because I know I come a long way. I won't be here if I'm too emotional or like I'm involving my emotions too much. But that's one thing that I know that I'm working on. That one simple thing that it comes to me, and I was like, why is it like
Yeah.
this?
Like, should go for maybe we should get you one of those punching bags. Those
I was like,
portable
like
ones.
the portable ones.
Yeah, those ones.
I've seen it.
Yeah, just punch it. Instead of punching the table or throw your phone or punching the couch or the bed, just punch
I
it.
want to be able to like just one day. I'm like,
No, but I mean,
okay,
I think it's like obviously no one is perfect, right?
yeah,
But it is interesting though how you go from 0 to 1,000, not even 100.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's different
Literally, you
person.
should just see a text from like the V or something. what the fuck? And she just, and me, I'll just, okay. Just,
Because it's like there are things really that I couldn't believe. But then,
yeah.
like with some of our VAs, they are our first VAs, and then we were learning, and then
Yeah.
they were like the way how we get our VAs now and how we train them, the new ones, it's not how we did before because we were so busy, and then we pretty much throw them to the wolves of like, here's the job, and then now like having how I don't even know how many VAs we have, 17, 18. Like these individuals that we hired now, it's like to the T, they have the training, they have the
Yeah, we have
documentation,
the
they're
SOPs and
yeah,
I mean, when we first started, I wouldn't say we're just throwing things and seeing what sticks,
yeah.
but we're just so busy and things were growing so fast. We
Hmm.
all had things we're doing so much, like that was taking so much of our time.
Yeah,
So we really didn't have the chance to actually sit and build those
yeah.
systems, right? Like the
It's like
onboarding processes,
even the VAs need to figure it out.
yeah, like they had to, which I mean is a testament to their resilience and strength,
They're still with us.
that they're still with us. They didn't quit, But I look back and like, dang, we actually didn't help them succeed like we should have, right? But they
Mhm.
did, right? So, and I think that's one of the things that I'm grateful for our team. I
Yeah.
think everyone in our team is really like a go-getter. Just a few people that, but for the most part, the OGs that we started, OGs,
OGs, they are
the
definitely
OGs,
OGs. Yeah, there's a few of them.
yeah, the OGs, like they really went above and beyond,
Yeah.
and I mean, they did get their fair share of CC yelling at them.
They that everyone was scared to at me like at that time because it was like, oh my gosh, this is here, like get it
Oh
together.
yeah,
But it is needed because like at that time it's like it was low key. We're not like bosses, we're like friends, and I learned along the way that I can be your friend but I'm not your friend. Like from in the beginning we have um, things to do. And so we can always talk about like everything later on as long as the job is done. And so I always say this, it's like if you're our employee, you have your goal, personal goal, and I have my personal goal. In between, we have job to do. And if that job is not done, then you cannot achieve your goal and I can achieve mine. And so we help each other fulfill the goal, and so we can fulfill ours as well, which is I feel like I'm a changed person every 6 months because
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I don't think I would say this like a year ago. So.
No, because I mean, I'm being your business partner, and even like I see that growth,
Mhm.
from a year ago. You couldn't let go of
I
things,
couldn't.
right?
Yeah, I'm an integrator, by the way.
Yeah,
But
and I'm a visionary, so
yeah, he is a
a lot of
visionary.
things where I'm like, it's we can think of like she's like, no, why is this like? She'll be like, why is there no a period on this Airbnb description? Why do you have a number of restaurants in Airbnb? I'm like, come down, babe. Like, yes,
Mhm.
it's serious, but it shouldn't get you worked up that much, kind
Yeah.
of thing. So it was very interesting how we see things,
Mhm.
because there's so many things where that happens, and I don't say, oh, you overreact,
Mhm.
but she's like, why is this happening? Blah 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 blah, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, because I think you see in the moment kind of
Mhm.
thing, right? And the way I'm seeing is, okay, me, I'm looking at the progress and evolution,
Yeah, I
right?
am at the moment every
So
time, even now.
yeah, even in that, right? So I'm going to like I'm coming from,
Mhm.
okay, hey, in the past or 6 months ago, it took our team, let's say, we're not even let's say like 5 days to
Mhm.
just solve two issues, right? Maintenance issue takes like 5 days to find a solution, right?
Mhm.
To the point where now we're having like 77 maintenance problems in a week, which I think is a great
It's a good number.
good number, right? But CC, she doesn't you see like that, right?
Nope.
She's not it's
Why
like,
is that not
why is that
done?
not working? I'm like, okay, babe, calm down. Like, literally has 77 issues are being fixed in this last month, like last week,
Mhm.
and first it took us like a whole week to just do
Yeah,
two. Now we've gone to like 77 a week,
yeah.
like, you know,
And it's a good thing about the partnership too, because like one has urgency and one can look at the bigger picture. Because
yeah,
I don't look at the bigger picture, and he doesn't look at the urgency. And so for me, it's like when I ask about something like or to do something, I need it yesterday. So it's like I need it done. But a lot of them is like, oh, if you don't tell them that you need it done, then they won't prioritize it.
yeah,
Let's say. And so and what I need is not even like a lot. It's just like simple stuff. Maybe being an admin or like sending this or getting me this paperwork. But for me, if it's not done, I will just go back to you. I don't care if I go back to you 10 times. I will go back to you because it won't leave my mind and until it's done, and I won't sleep peacefully. I don't think
Yeah.
I will sleep at
Oh,
all.
I will sleep.
So he will.
I'll sleep
Um,
and
But in the partnership, it's good to have both because if you're two visionaries, you're only gonna look at like the future and like you're not gonna focus on the details. And if you're both integrators, then you're focusing so much on right now and the details. You don't even know where you're going, and so
yeah.
that's so bad. But yeah,
I think that's why I think we have a really good partnership.
yeah.
Is I'm the visionary person, right? So I'm always thinking long term,
And the
bigger
leader
picture.
too. I don't want to be a leader. I don't think I want. I don't want to be a leader. It's like no one wants to take the position. It's like he doesn't want to be an integrator.
I
I don't want to be a
no.
visionary.
Yeah,
I don't want
so
to be a leader. I don't want to be the tech support
yeah, so I'll
or
lead,
be
right?
in meetings. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like I don't like to talk.
It's funny.
So,
I think it's funny, but I'm thinking about it because the things you do, I don't want to do,
yeah.
and the things I do, you don't want to do.
And that's why we prosper more.
Yeah,
Like that's why we grow more on like our own talents because we were
yeah,
able to focus. You let me focus on mine. I let you focus on yours.
yeah.
It's not just we let each other focus. We don't want it. We don't want. I don't want you. It's not that. And I'm just being real. I'm like I cannot do what you do, and I don't think he wants to.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be sitting on Excel and like looking at. Nah, I'm good.
Mhm.
I'd rather have my meetings.
Yeah, I
I'm
cannot
like,
do meetings.
yeah.
You know how many meetings we have in relocations in the last how are we 6 months of business? 3. All meetings 15 minutes each. That's it. I don't like meetings. It's like if I can teach you guys on like messages and you guys understood, that's it. I don't want you on my screen like it's not that I don't want to see you or talk to you. It's just
Yeah.
that it's not needed, and I a lot of things I don't see the need, and it's the same thing for you. It's like you don't see the need like of a lot of things, but that's when we come in. It's like we meet in the middle.
Meet in the
It's like
middle.
okay,
We
what do we
compromise.
do
Yeah.
to get it done?
And I don't even say compromise. We find a
Mhm.
solution,
We do find a
right?
solution, yeah.
So I see something one way, she sees something one way.
Mhm.
Sometimes we see something the same way, but we just talk about it different in different
We
ways.
do
Like it's kind of like a low-key
communication.
argument. Like it's like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying
Yes.
too. Like we're talking about the same thing, but saying it
We
different
literally are.
ways.
We're like arguing, and we're talking about the same thing, and like ended it up like we're talking about the same thing.
Literally
Like
talking about the same thing.
I just laugh at it.
No, but in the times though where we are seeing things totally different, and which actually I appreciate, right? Maybe like in GovCon or like something I'm doing, right? She's not in the details of it, right? But if she's like, hey, have you considered doing something like this way?
Mhm.
You know, I'm like, okay, let me consider doing that way, right? Because I
Mhm.
never thought about it, or maybe I tried it, didn't work out. But it's always a your hands are so cold.
Sorry. It's always like it's different when
Damn,
I'm in it's warm, babe.
like you put in there like
Like
Eskimo.
really.
Ooh, give me goosebumps. It's so cold. Dang.
When it's warm, I'm probably sick.
I know. I mean,
I'm not used to it yet.
no, I mean, I guess because I'm hard, so
You are.
I'm a
I
hard guy.
mean,
So when you touch me, it just feels so cold.
continue. Like,
What I was
keep
saying,
going
I
if you
forgot what I was
don't.
saying. I forgot what I was saying. No, but I was basically what I'm saying is, it's just nice to see it different eyes. That's not like in the day-to-day activities of it.
Yeah.
You know, so she like should give me suggestions on what to do myself the business. And usually those are really const- constructive. That's what I like, right? I like constructive criticism, right? And one thing, everyone that knows me, I hate criticisms unless it's constructive, right? And I will take it, So she give me advice like, hey, have you considered hiring somebody for this? I think the same way too, where I can look
Mhm.
in a business and be like, hey, have you considered doing
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And sometimes we don't always agree, right? We don't always agree. I'm going to explain my point of view, and then she's probably going to understand it later,
Mhm.
or she's going to explain her point of view, and I'm going to understand it later, right? And
Mhm.
then implement it. And I'll say, so far, 10 out of 10 times, all those they worked out and actually helped make the business easier, really.
Yeah, because I think like it's not being a partner or a spouse. It's being human. Like if
Yeah.
you have a different, if you heard a different way, your first response is to why? Like I'm doing it this way and it's working. And it's like yeah, but there's always like a better
What was
way,
that
right?
saying? What do you fix a broken car or something like that? What do you fix a car that's working or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what would you fix it if it's working?
Yeah, what do you fix it is working? But
And it's like, and him too. He's like giving me advices, but then I feel like you give it later, and instead of like at the moment.
yeah.
And so it's like while we're driving, it's like you're giving me an advice, and I do like advice too. Like I will cry first. I don't know. cry so much. Like he's so used to it. But then I will cry because it's like,
Aren't you shocked you're not crying now?
huh?
I'm shocked you're not
I
crying
know,
yet.
right? Like I was crying 6 months ago, and like give me like a feedback, and I'll cry. But now it's like I think I'm in the mindset of let me think of that. Like let me put myself into your shoes of like okay, like if I do it that way. Now I think a lot of scenarios of like if I do this, what can happen? Like what results can because it's different results really, and so I feel like in the business too, it's not too much that you need to change. Maybe one or two things, and that's it. You just figure it out from there. Like you produce the results. So even in relocation, we change sometimes one word and like or how we construct a sentence, and it's the same result. It's the same meaning, but it's different results. It's like a good results on this one and bad results on this one. So, for example, let's say, "Can you get this from me?" Or we say, "May I get this document from you?" And it's like way nicer instead of a command, it's like a favor.
It makes
And
them,
it's like
it gives them that urgency to do, actually want to
yeah,
do
and
it
it's like
for you.
oh, Sisi's so nice. Let me do it like that.
They think she's nice.
You think, but it's like wording your
No, that's
communication
important,
even
though.
on email is very important because then they can't hear your tone, and so if they can actually read it in a way that it sounds nicer, even if you don't read email by mouth, but you think of it, and so if you hear it in your head that it's nicer, unconsciously you're gonna have an urgency to actually help me,
I
and
mean, it's
so
always the little things,
yeah, it is
you know.
definitely little things,
And
and a lot of people overlook
that's what I'm about to say,
that.
yeah. And that's the thing that most people overlook is the little things. Even me, I
Mhm.
overlook a lot of. I think now I'm doing much better though.
You do,
'Cause, like even like this proposal, like I'm very, very, very anal how I want my proposals to look
yeah,
like, and I think from talking to all those like contracting officers, like, oh dang, your proposal is actually the best I've ever seen,
yeah.
and I take pride in that.
You do. You
Like
should.
I do, yeah, 'cause I put a
Yeah.
lot of work in it, so
Mhm.
I actually take pride in
It's
that,
your work.
you know. But it's just those little things, like, and first I was like, hey, I'm just gonna just type up a bit and just send it. But I was like, you know what? Be competent and be excellent, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm just not gonna format it or use my branding the way I want
Mhm.
it to be, then I'm not being competent, I'm not being
Mhm.
excellent, right? And that doesn't glorify God, right? Because everything
Yeah.
I would do, I want to glorify God
Mhm.
through it, right? So I want to glorify God through my works, and that's part of my works,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
love that.
So
I love you.
I love you too. I
I
love
love
you.
you. I
I
love
love
you.
you.
I love you.
Talking about that,
Mhm.
I'm actually getting hungry.
Me too.
I
I'm
gotta go
getting
glorify
hungry.
God through my food.
You should. Or you're like, whenever you eat or you
Mhm,
sleep, you
mhm.
need to glorify Him in all you do. Well, that's our first conversation.
Yeah,
By the way,
we're still
why
random.
I'm doing this is we usually have videos of our cool mom and dad for our future kids, and I think this things that long conversation is useful for them as well in the future because
Yeah.
we talk about a lot of things that are timeless. Like you can always like
Yeah.
use
It's not
this.
scripted, so it's just like anything that comes up in our mind, we talk about.
Yeah.
Really, it's not scripted, so
Yep.
yeah.
Want to
Yeah.
go? Where you want to go? What leader
I'll
would you
look for you.
like?
I don't know. Let's see what we have in the
All
area.
right.
Let's see.
Hopefully the video did not stop.